All right, this is Hugo from Ichiban Studio reporting live from Gencon 2013 on the WGC, and I'm with Cody Matthews from Geek Chic. How are you today, sir?
Doing fine, sir. How are you doing?
I am good, and right now we're pimping in style, Youth Efner style. You know, you can see the setup right there. It's pretty beautiful. So tell us about a little bit what do you guys do and what you're all about.
So Geek Chic is a hardwood manufacturing company. We're from Everett, Washington, which is about 20 minutes north of Seattle. And what we do is we hand manufacture pieces of furniture for consumers who are geeks.
So consumers who are geeks. And basically, because I see all that awesomeness everywhere. I mean, this is sexy stuff that you do. You got some gaming tables. You're working on some secret projects also. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Can we talk about that later?
We'll talk a little bit about that later.
Okay, they got some amazing gaming tables. They got gaming accessories, drinking accessories to put on your fucking table. That's amazing. You know, I like that stuff.
We do what we can.
And you also have the display cases. They got a bunch of stuff. So, how this all started?
Well, you know, the owner of the company, Robert Gifford, he one day kind of came up with this realization that geeks, you know, we've been around for a long time, and we're finally coming to a situation where we're making a little bit more money, or we're ready to bring our passion into the limelight. And so by building these tables, which was an idea that he came up with his wife, by allowing us to be able to put the games where everyone else can see them, maybe they're gonna, you know, show a little bit of appreciation as well. Because I mean, a lot of these things we spend so much time. I mean, especially like you spend a lot of time painting a miniature, and then what happens to it afterwards? You put it in a box, you put it underneath your bed. Well, that's just shameful. Like, let's put it out where other people can enjoy it as much as we do.
Like in the big nice display cases that they have, because they are awesome. I'm gonna try to get my hands on one of them. Well, we'll see how that happens. So tell us a little bit about the lineup. So like I said, you have the accessories, you have the tables, but just, you know, clarify it a little bit more for me.
So if we were going to walk through a dream house and go through every single room, ideally there would be a piece of Geek Chic furniture in each one of those rooms. So if we were to walk through the front door, we have very lovely seating options, benches, high back chairs, low back chairs, stools. And then if we were to swing on into the kitchen, we have some lovely dining room tables, coffee tables as we get into the living room, this china hutch that we lovingly call the Keep. And then as we get into more very particular gaming situations, we have the Spartan, which is great for us war gamers out there. You know, 4x8 foot options available for those huge, like 3,000 point matches. And then we get into the very, very specialized role-playing games with our Spartan. Everyone knows the Spartan. That's the big boy. But it is very specialized. And, you know, as a salesman, as a man from Geek Chic, a craftsman, we want to get to know the customer. We're not going to build a single piece of this until you figure out what you want.
Because that's one thing, right? Everything that you make is customizable and it's on demand, right? Yeah. You don't buy a table and it's pre-made and that's it.
No, everything is handmade here in the United States by us. We're taking raw wood, and we're not going to cut a single piece of it. We're not going to sand a single piece of it until you figure out what you want. So we'll work with you to see, you know, what kind of size of table you need, what kind of games you like to play. Because as a craftsman, I'd hate to get you two things. I'd hate to get you a table that's too big for your room or too small for your game. So, you know, there is a little bit of a lead time. If a person places a deposit, we're running right now at this current point, like right around a year. But what that does is that year gives you a year to figure out exactly what you want. Because we're not going to provide you with a table you can't use. We're going to provide you a table that you're going to want to use every day and that you are going to use every day.
So I know that, you know, Chung can see you do those kind of trays that snap in your tables, right?
Yep.
Do you do like a customizable tequila shot tray for those of you like me that play drunken wargaming?
Oh, yes. I mean, customizable things that what we call bespoke, you know, those are entirely things that are in our wheelhouse, and we can do that. We just consider that custom, and custom is spelled with
hell yeah
$3 signs.
So just before we move on, one last question, because yesterday we were talking a little bit about you have a secret project that you're working, and it's a little bit more in my area because now we're covering the gaming and the geek aspect of things. But for a guy like, maybe not for a guy like me, but for the people at home that are more interested in some area that are called painting, what do you guys are working on right now?
Okay, so Geek Chic is working on 7 separate desks. And these 7 desks will place a customizable workspace for all these different types of things that people do. One of them that we've just showcased here at Gencon is our creative desk. Kind of one of those art desks, tiltable surface, a lot of things. Our prototype is here. We're asking for people to come up, tell us what they think. But we're also going to be eventually getting into some of the things that we're really passionate about, which is the workbenches and craft stations that will allow us to paint not only a really quality piece, but will allow us to use the table like a tool to be more successful at what we're doing.
And another thing that you touched on yesterday, and which I think was great, but in a situation like me, when I own a studio, it's a different story. But a lot of people at home, which are married or have a girlfriend, we always get pushed in the corner. You mentioned that, and it's true. And the product that you're trying to come up with is a desk that will look really beautifully crafted, look good on the corner, but as soon as you pop it open, then after that, you have your whole station and everything you need.
Yeah. A successful workspace will allow you to get all the tools that you need to use within arm's distance so you can work successfully. But when it is folded up, it needs to be elegant enough that if it's sitting there not being used, it's not going to attract too much unwanted attention, especially from that significant other. I mean, personally, there's been a couple of different occasions where I've been pushed into the garage, which is not the ideal situation for us painters because of temperature change and such. But, if you do get into a situation where you do have a more elegant approach, something that's a little bit more acceptable for that significant other, then you can stay inside. You can even work in your living room.
That is awesome. So for the guys that are watching this video right now, where can they find more information about your products?
So our Geek Chic website has been updated. That's geekchichq.com. All the information is up there on the website. If you want to place a deposit on a piece of furniture, go right ahead, gentlemen. You will not regret what you did.
Do you also have a Facebook page or a community page and things like that?
Yes, a lot of our social media is available. We have a Twitter account, hashtag Geek Chic, and then, of course, Facebook/Geek Chic.
Everybody's everywhere these days. So this was Hugo from Ichiban Studio, reporting live from Gencon at the Geek Chic booth. Cheers for watching, guys.